Welcome everyone. This is MSI After Hours, episode 3, the most scuffed podcast on the planet, but you definitely need it in your life. I'm Caedrel. Dracos isn't here today, so I got my boy Krepo. How are you doing, my man?
Yeah, 2 Gragas, what the fuck? Nah, I'm good. I'm good. Stepping in the footsteps of the great young Dracos is always something I dreamed of. So yeah, we're here.
You're here. Cool. Have you been watching a lot of MSI recently?
I think like yesterday I missed a little bit. For some reason my sleep schedule is really scuffed, so I missed the first 2 games. But today I watched a lot of stuff and then more in depth, especially C9 games, because for some reason, like, yeah, they're interesting to watch at the very least.
They're interesting, yeah. The first vowel of that word does definitely come to mind. Oh, the syllable, sorry. They had a rough start. They're 0-4 right now, next to Pentanets in last place. And I think the biggest problem that they had today was they lost to PSG Talon. And actually, let's start with that game, actually. I don't want to go from first game to last game, because it's a scuffed podcast, so let's just jump straight in it. In that C9
everyone knows the results anyways, right? So it's worth starting there, I think.
Yeah, if you guys didn't know the results, C9 lost. They're 0-4. And in that game, Cloud9 versus PSG, I think a lot of people were, well, especially myself, I looked at the drafts, and I saw the drafts, and I was like, wait, can PSG even win? They have lanes that get pushed in. They have really bad team fight because they have no frontline against Kog'Maw, Lulu, Victor, Set. They have no early game prio in jungle. I really think, and they got outscaled. So I thought that draft was just so fucking one-sided for C9, but they still lost. Did you think the same kind of thing?
I think the only thing that bothers me in this draft is that, to me, Kog'Maw, compared to other ADs, feels the same way Victor feels to the other control mages. They both, like, function very well if there's someone in front of them, like, holding space, and then they interact with it. But they have to give up a lot of space themselves, I feel. So, like, when Kog'Maw and Victor are both kind of waiting for something to happen and someone to punish, right? There's, like, this really, like, big void in front of them. And I think on this one, it was interesting to see that, like, I think Fudge and Blobber, for example, played way too far forward. So, like, they were, like, playing in a traditional, like, front-to-back kind of style where they just kind of start annoying enemy backline. But I felt like both Sven and Perks just were on an island and they kept getting chained over. It was like, they might stop the Lee Sin, but then the Akali gets through. They might stop the Leona, but then the Kai'Sa comes through, right? So I would have rather see, like, a bit more Fudge playing bodyguard. Like, Kai'Sa comes flying in, yeet her out again. So that's where I think it was rough. But yeah, on paper it looks like a hard comp to play against. But then again, in teamfights, it looked like PSG Talon was, like, consistently fine in the opening though.
Yeah, they seemed fine. I mean, the Lee Sin did clutch a couple of the fights, like the 3-man kick with the 4-man Leon ult. So, like, they got kind of lucky there. That one fight kind of snowballed the game out of control because then they got Nash from it. But just
was that the mid one where, like, Udyr, like,
Udyr stunned the Leona and guys, Leona's hinting. No. But the thing is, just look at it. You have, like, Lee Sin and Akali, who are just 2 assassins diving onto a comp with Lulu, Udyr, Set, so they should have enough peel. And then you just have, like, a Kai'Sa, Morgana, Leona. They just feel out of place. I didn't like the draft too much. I think C9 on paper should win. I mean, draft doesn't decide the game, right? And I think they did misplay it a lot. But that was just a surprising loss. And it's not only like a bad thing from just losing the game itself, but losing to PSG, who C9 are their biggest competitors to get out of the group, who are now at 2-2 and they're at 0-4. That's fucking rough. Because tomorrow, after the first 3 games tomorrow, that's the first half of the round.
Yeah, right. But PSG is scheduled to lose though, because they have RNG next, I believe, and Cloud9 needs to pick up the dub against Pentanets, right? So, like, in terms of tournament survivability, all Cloud9 need to do is, if the group plays out with the same results, they need to beat PSG next time and force a tiebreaker, right? EU can really fuck over NA though if Matt keeps winning. If Matt beats Cloud9 but then loses to PSG, then it gets really rough for C9.
This wouldn't be the first time that it came down to EU to save NA. Last time they didn't do it, I think it was at Worlds or something. But yeah, EU could really fuck C9 up a bit if like Matt, like I said, like somehow beat like RNG or Damwon or something, and they're sitting pretty at 2nd or 3rd place, and then they just lose to PSG. I mean, Mad PSG face each other tomorrow, and I think maybe the NA scheduling is coming in hot there, because that means that Mad's tournament life isn't on the line because they play them again tomorrow, you know? So it's like the reverse of the schedule coming in again. So they won't be able to do that, I think. in
But
the
I keep,
second
I
half.
keep staring at this draft, by the way, from C9 versus PSG Talon. Do you think like they're drafting so formulaic, like keep a 2v2 bot lane that's fine on its own, have jungle start bot, mage in mid that is fine, and then like pushing top laner just to secure top scuttle? Do you feel like C9 is playing in a way where they lost all their early games because they fucked up a scuttle crab top? It's like a bit of a meme, but that they just draft in a way where they get to secure that and then like scale easily into mid late game? Or is it just like a symptom?
I don't know, dude. So, yeah, I mean, the Scuttle Crab meme should die out because now we're in round 2, and there's a lot of memes from the Scuttle Crab from round 1 of MSI, right?
Yeah.
But now we're in round 2. It feels like their loss against Mad. Okay, let's be honest, that was a fucking burger flip. There was no way that they're gonna get away with that one. And then you think of the RNG Cloud9 game where they were already behind, but then they won a huge fight with the Malphite, and then they were poised to win with RNG backdoored them. You can't really attribute that to a Scuttle Crab loss. So those two losses, I wouldn't really think about it too much. The PSG Talon game, again, this didn't really come down to a Scuttle either. This was just poor teamfight execution. But the meme is there.
Yeah. But they secured it, right? Like, I feel like maybe they over-indexed into, like, getting a game plan that is really, like, the early game plays itself if you draft this as Cloud9, right? There's no other way that you are starting bot no matter what, kind of like you're pathing to top lane. You don't have to interact with enemy, like, with bot lane at all. Mid is kind of on an island. So yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see. Because to me, it sounds like when you're C9, right, and you come into a tournament with high expectations, and then suddenly things keep going wrong. That's the only thing you watch in review. Like, you never had that where you make like a massive mistake on stage. So next week, you do everything to avoid that particular mistake, but you start dropping other aspects of the game.
True.
Like you suddenly fix your early game, but you can't set up a Nash for your life.
True. Yeah.
And to me, C9 feels a little bit like they're chasing after their mistakes.
Yeah, they're like it's like they're chasing after their tail, kind of a bit, right?
Yeah.
But it's true. I've had loads of scrim games where it's like you have like one bad week of scrims or one competitive game that goes out of hand, and the coaches just say like, "Look, we lost the game level 3. Let's make sure we get past level 3 and we'll be fine." And everyone's brain is tunnel vision. Like, okay, let's just get to level 5, make sure no one dies, get a Scuttle Crab, full clear twice, and we're good. Maybe they're tunnel visioning on that a lot. I don't know if the comp reflects that too much, but they definitely have a clear plan to get a free crab, right? Set as top push, early paths up. You have a mid lane mage that can push in the Kali, right? But that definitely helps them a lot. But something that I noticed from the West versus the East, I think there's a big disparity right now in the drafting side of things. It feels like to me RNG and Damwon draft winning lanes, right? They're gonna draft like not so much winning lanes, but early skirmish winning lanes, whether it's like Lucian mids, Sylas mids, Ryzes mids, these kind of things to get the push, or Zoes. And then they draft and play for jungle in the early game with top Jaces, top Lee Sins, top Lucians. And that's how they play to win. RNG just plays through side lanes, plays through solo lanes to win games, whereas it feels like EU teams just draft more team fighting. I don't know. Do you get that kind of vibe?
Yeah, I mean, going back to like Damwon doing, that's how like what they did at Worlds, right? Like or that's how World meta played out in general. It was just everyone plays. Right before that, the meta was like, okay, you get an advantage in lane by your jungler assisting you, but now it was like, now you funnel lane resources into getting the jungle ahead, right? And then support becomes a secondary jungler where if someone needs a push out, it's actually support roaming while the jungle keeps full clearing. I think it shifted now a little bit because some of these junglers just clear so ridiculously fast that they can pick up that task again and they can do everything. But yeah, I think that is the correct way to play though. Draft a bit more skirmish, because I feel like a lot of games that teams lost that they should have maybe won or that were lost on one mistake is because there was like 0 CC drafted. That's why a lot of the comebacks that happened had like involved like a Leona for me. Yeah. Where like the C9 comp again, it's maybe redundant to keep going back to it, but if you're behind with Kog, Lulu, Victor, Udyr, Lulu, like, and then only CC is a set, like how do you make something happen without the enemy giving it to you?
True, and I saw that in the exact same game that they played where they last picked the Karma top. Wait, I'm gonna get their draft for that because they also played a similar draft, exactly the same as that, where they drafted this was the game that they were ahead. This was the game that they were winning against.
Karma
versus
Lulu, Lucian, Udyr.
Exact same comp. You can't force anything. You can't actually force anything. Wait, I'm just gonna get their draft saved here on my PC so I can show it on screen. But basically, what happens here is their draft doesn't outscale to the point where they can actually just like obviously their draft is good if the enemy team's running into them and they can scale to like 6 items and stuff like this. But this draft right here from C9 on the right, you can't actually force anything. If you want to start the Baron and turn, you have an Ash Arrow. If you want to force a fight in mid, you have nothing. So you always saw Damwon, even though they were behind, they walk up, start the fight, C9 have to kite back, and then once Damwon's engage is fallen, then they can chase him down with Ash, right? There was no real like point and click, engage CC, start the fight, catch someone out, and then make a play.
The only logical exception to that is that if they are first on the objective, basically they put the enemy on a timer, right? You start Baron, so like I can't engage on you, but if you don't come fight me, then I get the objective, right? But those comps are so hard to play that I feel if you play them perfect, they are playable in the early to mid game. But if you make one mistake, like for example where sometimes like Blobber goes too deep and then he gets chunked, or Perks had some poor flanks, yeah, then I think it's just so hard to play. Whereas if you play comps with a little bit more like punish, Leona ulti, like a Stylus engage, Syndra QE, then I think the game gets a lot more playable.
Okay, I just got a message from my producer, Krepo. I'm just going to take your cam box off for 1 second because we got a special guest coming in. He's dropping in. He's currently in a solo queue game, but he's dropping in right now, so I'm going to add him into the call. Give me 1 sec. I'm going to add him in. There it is. He is joining the call now. Let me just fix your Discord box.
Turn on cam, right?
Yeah, then I can move you across. That'll be lovely.
Okay, nice. There I am.
Okay.
There he is.
Wunder's here. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm just in queue right now for some League of Legends.
Taking over some solo bolo queue?
In queue? You mean you're gonna cancel queue, obviously, right?
No. I'm just gonna run it down while I'm in game.
I see.
Fine.
Okay, 1 sec. I'm just fixing things. I'm fixing scenes. It's so scuffed. It's unbelievable.
Just put Krepo on the Gragas and no one will notice.
Wait, I have a better idea. Let's just do this. Boom. So, Wunder, have you been watching much MSI?
I watched, I think every game but the Pentanets against RNG or something.
What
Wait, Pentanets 2 games today, right?
Everyone plays 2 games today.
Oh yeah, so I didn't watch the Pentanets games.
You didn't watch Pentanets games? Did you...
Why not, Wunder?
Yeah, why didn't you watch the Pentanets games?
I was playing solo queue.
Ah, yeah.
Okay. International tournament can't get practice?
Yeah, I mean, they're too good actually. They're so good I can't learn anything from them anyways.
So we were talking about C9 losing these games. Do you have any like strong opinions or thoughts as to what's going on C9 and like they're tunnel visioning on crabs, the crab memes, they're drafting enchanters across the boards. Do you have any like initial thoughts?
I think Cloud9 like generally has like fine drafts. There was like one draft, I think like the draft today against DK, where they had like both Karma and Lulu. That's maybe like a little bit troll.
Yeah.
Or like usually, I mean they were like playing against, because usually like when you have like Lulu and Karma, you want to like late game is usually good for you. But they're also playing against Senna, so Senna is like kind of good against all like the AD carries that usually wants to get buffed up because she will outrange anyways. But yeah, I mean having like Lulu and Karma both on one team is like not as good. But I think generally the draft has been good. It's just
Isn't it like overkill? Like I feel like if I want to see like that much like steroids in a comp, I would rather have like a Sejuani in the jungle or a tank meta, right?
I mean, they have Udyr, I think.
Yeah, but for me like Udyr still like the definition would be, can this person survive the first round of shields and then get the second one? But I feel like whenever this Udyr walked up, he just disappeared. He was just gone.
Yeah, I mean usually when we had like when we had Karma top, we would play like tank support, right, or engage support. And if we had like it's like usually when you have like enchanters bot lane, you want to play like something like Bruiser or tank top, right? That's just like how it goes. That's like the usual distribution, I guess you can call it. But you can play anything really. But it's just that really didn't make much sense to me. And also just like, I mean, I think the early games are just like a lot worse, or like their laners. I don't really know. I think the bot lane is usually very, very strong in lane, and mid is just like, I mean, mid is just mid lane, so it goes like 50-50, I think, most of the time. And then I think the jungler is just like very, very outperformed a lot of games. So
yeah,
it's a bit of a disaster.
I would have to agree. And then their draft against PSG, which was kind of similar, where they had enchanter support, set top. Do you think that's the exact same kind of scenario where you just kind of lack engage? You have a decent amount of frontline, but you can not really force much. Do you think that PSG's draft was good into what they had, or was it like the Lulu does really well into Lee Sin Akali, and then they should just win fight straight front to back?
It's the Cloud9 PSG game, right?
Yeah. So Cloud9 had Sett, Udyr, Victor, Kog, Lulu, and PSG had Lee Sin, Morgana, Akali, Kai'Sa, Leona.
I think the draft is fine, honestly, because like you don't like it's not necessarily that you need engage. It's just like that you want like team fights to be playable, and I think in that game team fights would be playable because they have like they basically just play around like they just want Kog'Maw to live, and they have Udyr and Sett in front when Kog'Maw is just free hitting, or like he's supposed to be free hitting. But I think that game like they played team fights wrong, and they were also just
yeah. Do you
they
think
were basically playing against a comp that all they want to do is just kill the Kog'Maw whenever they see him, and they were just playing fights worse. So like they just ended up getting like rolled over, I think.
Yeah, do you think Udyr and the Sett were like playing too deep? Like or like how does this?
I also think that like the game was just too much fighting. I think probably. Victor was like kind of useless compared to Akali on like 1-2 items. So it was just like hard for them, I think. They didn't really have like damage without Kog'Maw hitting, and whenever Kog'Maw hits, like there will be like a Leona ult flying and Lee Sin flying, and then Kai'Sa following up, So it's just
Do you think EU and I would say more NA, but EU and NA Western teams in general are just drafting too much, scaling too much team fight? And you think that these Eastern teams like RNG and Damwon are just playing like Lucian top, Lee Sin mid, Lee Sin top? They want to draft early game priorities, Zoe, things like this. Do you think this is a better playstyle, or is it just that? I don't know, is EU just playing to hold on too much, or NA in general?
I think there's like I think Cloud9 is for sure like always drafting for. When you say team fight, it's like they're drafting for like 30 minutes plus, like 3 items on everyone. But like there's also other, because I think right now, drafting team fights is good, but there's like a difference in how you like draft team fight, right? Because champions that like wants to fight at 8 minutes, like fight first Herald, that's also drafting team fight, But that's just champions like Akali, Lee Sin, all these champions. They like they just want to fight like at Herald and first Drake, 2 Drakes, and that's also kind of team fight, even though maybe like they fall off a bit more,
Yeah, because I feel like that's kind of what some of the, for example, like the Damwon versus RNG game, where Damwon drafts like this full AD comp, and they just want to play for pure early game and side lane and for early heralds. And then like you make this one mistake versus an arguably better teamfight comp, and you make a slip up and you lose Nash. That's not really down to comps, I guess. It's just execution. Like the early game comp should get ahead naturally, and then when it comes to Drake fights, you just have to come down to straight 5v5s, because you eventually just have to, you're forced to contest them.
Oh. There are so many early Drakes though. This again, I feel like these fucking power junglers, like before at Worlds or something, or earlier metas, at least people had to like invest to get a dragon. But right now, I feel like you can just pick up Drakes at the end of the clear no matter what.
Yeah.
If your bot side is stronger. So I feel before it was like there is a soul point at like 23 minutes, or like a third dragon fight that like decides the game. Like in some games, to me now it feels like it's in every single game. I don't know if that's like, and that makes the meta for me a bit boring. I don't know how Wunder feels about that.
I think that's true. That like, it's been like that for like so long now. But also something, I don't even think that the other teams are like the Asian teams are like drafting better or anything. They just draft all the time. They draft something that can outplay, and they just seem to outplay. I think Damwon drafted poorly as well against RNG, or like they drafted good against RNG, but then I think Khan and Barrel like went too deep in like pretty much every fight, and RNG just got like 1 or 2 free kills and then ended up winning the game. But I don't think that's like supposed to happen, if if like everyone like quote unquote plays perfect, I don't think the way RNG is drafting is good either. They're just drafting on pretty much every lane, like every champ can do their own stuff, and they can outplay, and they usually just outplay in team fights. So
yeah, because we kind of saw it today, I think, with the RNG draft, the outplay kind of thing, right? Where it was RNG had a top side of Gnar, Olaf, TF, whereas Mad Lions had things like Wukong, Orianna, Jinx, just pure team fight scaling, AoE damage, and RNG just perma play through side lanes.
I also think Wukong is like, it's just a troll pick, honestly. It's kinda the same as Irelia, just like worse in lane, but maybe it can be like a bit better in team fights, but I think Wukong, if there's any CC on enemy team, just like Aurelia, it's like so hard to play in team fights.
But he got a quarter kill, and you
Yeah.
watched.
Yeah, I mean,
What the hell?
I got a quarter kill, but it's worse in lane than Aurelia is, and it has the same issues Aurelia has when it goes later in the game. That it's kind of a win lane, lose game champion.
Mm.
And yeah, I think Gnar it doesn't have to like be as creative to do more or as much as Wukong, you know.
Yeah.
It hurts though that it's shown so much. I think if he kept the Wukong a pocket pick and they got to best of 5, I think he could offset whatever like the cons are by just having the novelty factor. But he's played it like a fair amount by now that I feel like everyone
But
has
also
seen
he picked it. He picked it into Xiaohu, and like I think LPL has. I mean, at least like in the beginning when Wukong was, what is it called, popular, they played it like almost every game in LPL. So he probably knows. I mean, there's like a certain way you play these matchups, Wukong. Like you just want to perma E on enemy and like trade. Otherwise, your champ doesn't really do much in lane.
Mm.
And I'm pretty sure Xiaohu like knows how to play against that kind of playstyle.
Yeah, LPL love their Wukong. But how do you think Mad Lions are doing so far? I mean, they're like tied for second right now with Damwon. They're not doing too bad. They have looked a little bit shaky, like the RNG game. They kind of got pulled around the map. They had a lot of scaling. But they've only really lost 2 games so far. One was just in the first round. The other games, they've been winning pretty much everything. They stomped Cloud9, which didn't really look like a good game to just take away and be like, yeah, they're better than C9 because it was just a flip 2 times. How do you think EU's chances are right now?
I think Matt's chances are. I mean, Matt is playing well. I think they also played well in Europe. Like they usually play well around what their jungler wants to do, and they play well around like if they need to punish enemy jungle camp respawns and things like that. That a lot of teams don't actually do in Europe, but it's pretty common internationally. They already like had some of those good things that they brought with them from EU playoffs already. But I also think that Matt would probably just be a 3rd place team, and even they might just still be, even though right now they look like they're better than Damwon. But I think Damwon is also like just maybe a lot worse without Khan, but they're still like 3-0 in Korea, so I'm not even sure if that's true. They just played like very poorly so far.
I wanna see it because like the format right now, Damwon and RNG both know that they're going on to the next stage, right? They knew it in groups.
They should know.
They know right now.
I mean, it's basically between Cloud9 and PSG, right? At this
yeah. But Mad Lion, I think it's about being top 3, right? Because then you like 4 plays 1, right? So as long as RNG.
So one chooses 3 or 4.
Okay, so okay, but technically then like usually 4 plays 1, right? So Mad Lions, they need to really get 3rd, but I feel like Damwon and RNG are probably gonna end up 1st and 2nd no matter what. And I find it really hard to really judge these teams then, because the difference between LPL 1st seed, LCK 1st seed in a best of 5 with a full week prep or like full time prep versus the 3rd time these teams meet in the group stage that actually doesn't mean anything. Yeah, it's a bit rough.
I find it hard to believe that, but that's also because I'm biased, right? Like I played against Damwon at Worlds, even though it was like a one different player, right? But they were like really insane, and I find it hard to believe that Matt can like beat them in a BO5, but also like with the way they have been playing right now, they should beat them in a BO5, right? So it's just hard to say.
Yeah, BO5 is a different thing, right? It's like a BO5 buff that Damwon might get.
Yeah, but I for sure think they're playing well, and I think also like they beat PSG 3 times, and I don't even think like PSG is a bad team. They are probably like same strength as Flash Wolves has always been, like when they were good. Like they were always like they could make it out of groups at Worlds. They didn't get like a really insane group. They would always be able to probably make it into quarters.
Yeah.
Also, and like beating a team like that 3 times, right? It's like not bad, I guess.
Pretty impressive.
If Mad end up 3rd though, that's good though. Still though, even though it's like they might not beat them, I think for their trajectory, that's a dub. I think.
So technically, if they end 3rd and you expect RNG to finish 1st, then they would face Damwon, right, in the semis. And RNG would face C9 or PSG. You'd expect.
I mean, just fully in tournament, right? I expect them to not make final, but I'm just saying if they fall in semi-final, Mad Lions, but they look like the better of the remaining teams, I think that they're probably happy with that. If you ask the org like a year ago, it's like, hey, You're gonna be playing MSI, put up decent results, somehow beat G2 to make it there, and then obviously LCK and Korea are better. I think everyone is kind of in agreement that that's a good result for them.
Yeah, I think in a BO5 that I think Mad Lions might actually do pretty well against Damwon, to be honest. I mean, they did fine against RNG. They did really consistent games against PSG as well. They're pretty adaptable in best of fives, but tomorrow they face Damwon, and I think that will tell us a lot, because I think the last question everyone's mind, like, right, is like, Damwon look really weak right now. C9 have already beat them. RNG beat them because they made mistakes. It feels like Damwon have good early games, but then just make mistakes, get caught in randomly mid games, do bad setups around objectives, and then they just start to lose games. So I think C9 Mad Lions versus Damwon will answer a lot of questions as to how the group will play out, I think. Wunder, I got some info from my producer that you're currently playing some Kindred in the jungle right now.
Yeah, I just got invaded by Lee Sin and died. It's not looking good.
Actually, for everyone in chat, Wunder is actually climbing solo queue quite quickly. Holy shit. What happened, dude? You're smurfing in solo queue.
I've been like kind of hot stuck around 400 to 500 for like the last 2 days.
You're maining Diego.
But you're playing Kindred jungle right now? Are you following Wipo? Is this like a grudge or
yeah, it's true. See you in the finals, Wipo.
See you at the finals, see you at LAN.
See you at LAN. Wunder versus Chongus in the jungle. Featured matchup. That'll be stacked. But yeah, tomorrow, Cloud9 versus Pentanet, the battle of the 0-4s. Who you guys got to win that? Your answer might not surprise me.
Well, I mean, I'd hope Cloud9 wins. I don't actually know how good they are. I don't watch their games. Depends on that team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Cloud9 can lose it.
No.
Would be interesting. So. But I want C9 to do well, because if for some reason NA still bombs out, then I don't know, at some point the floodgates will open and all EU players will just go to NA.
That's true.
Right?
It's probably like a increasing amount of imports.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? Actually, we
the Slabber guy.
It was 3 imports capped, not 2 guys. So
just changing the rules on like the law thing, just a little fucking Sharpie pen, changing it to 3.
Yeah,
that's what they wanted to do, right? I mean, they wanted to like just remove it. But...
Actually, what do you think would happen if they did that? You think all the EU players would just go straight to NA?
I think that would be like for full Chinese teams as well. I don't think all the EU players would leave. I think there would be, I don't know. I have no clue like how it works, right? But I assume that teams would be willing to pay less because they could probably get like some cheap, unproven Chinese players who are like 1500 LP in Challenger, right? That are better than like low tier EU players.
But they don't have infrastructure to work with these people, right? No, like translators and stuff. I just think it would.
They have. I mean, I think NA is the region that can produce like the best coaches because they value. I mean, China also values them a lot, right? They can just get them, right?
They can get them, but I think they might not have them in year 1 if this were to happen. I think it would just be the death of the European tier 2 scene. I feel like LEC would be like half bled dry. Then all the teams would be arguing for the talent that still needs a few more years to develop, and then suddenly the regional leagues would look a lot worse.
Yeah. I'm just mercilessly running it down.
You're just running it down in solo queue?
I'm just invading like Crux when my bot lane is basing, and I'm just getting collapsed on by 3 people while we're talking. Like, it's unplayable.
The jungle role is hitting hard, dude. No, but okay. What was I gonna say? Yeah, it will be similar to Overwatch League. I don't know. You guys probably never watched Overwatch League, but you have like a team like the London Spitfire, for example, and then you have like 5 Korean players, right? Who are winning
I didn't watch it, but I saw like some of the teams were like full Korean, full.
Yeah, I think that's basically what happened to the LCS. It would turn into like some kind of Super League, and yeah, maybe they would win Worlds, something like that. But that would really fuck over.
Still have to play against NA teams.
I mean, from having been on that side, I just like the first time this was rumored, right? I saw no way this would ever pass because EU teams would just go up in in anger, right? Like, why would they spend like 10.5 million euros to buy into, or whatever amount it is, to buy into the LEC under a certain rule set, only that is obviously globally tied, right? To then it get changed into NA favoritism, but at the same time, if NA after all the spending like still can't perform, they're gonna keep like crying or at least making a ruckus, right? And allegedly they have already. So
I think that's the problem, right? Because salaries are going through the roof in NA.
yeah, they keep going, right? But I just, quite frankly, I hope C9 does well. I think it's the best for the ecosystem as a whole in the West. As much as there's like a lot of people enjoy watching them bomb out after like the rumored transfer fees for perks, but I rather see them do well.
Yeah. And
For the scene in general.
The last topic, Sword Art, is on 6 million, right? Was it 6 million?
Was it 3 million?
Buyout or?
No, I think
I
Sword
don't
Art
know.
was 3 million.
Right?
Sword Art was 3 million, but still $3 million or whatever it is. I can guarantee you have like 4 or 5 LEC teams under that, don't you think? Under that one salary.
I mean,
5
like for
teams in total? No.
Oh, you mean? I thought you meant with 5 teams total. Depends
Like
on
with
what
the
teams.
players, you know, depending
Top
like
teams, I think.
yeah, maybe
Combined,
not top
you
tiers.
mean?
Combined
or-
like player salary teams. It almost like one player is almost like the same.
No, I
as-
think-
for
an
like a
average-
year, you mean?
An
Yeah, for a
average
year.
team will be around 1.5 million to 2 million spending.
in the LEC.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Okay.
Like maybe not the average, right? That doesn't mean that obviously reflects the bottom tier teams or teams that are heavily downsizing, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't think an Astralis is spending very much right
Yeah,
now, right?
definitely not.
That is
Like a million would be on the safe side.
yeah, a million would be on the safe side. But the fact that even regardless, the fact that we have a conversation that one player in another region, that wasn't even in the finals, cost as much as the operating budget for a top 4 team, and that doesn't sound crazy in Europe, that is already preposterous, right?
Yeah.
Like one player equals the operating budget for an average team in EU.
Over a
That's
year,
like
yeah.
scale. That's the scale we're looking at, yeah. And that's yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, that's a very long
Crazy.
topic of discussion. I don't think it's gonna happen.
No.
But yeah, I think they need to invest in other source you'd argue. But tomorrow, C9 Pentanet, definitely a must win for C9. If they drop a game to Pentanet, I think that's it. Their lights out tournament's gone. I doubt they'll drop that game. If they do, then they're fucking out of it. RNG PSG, I think again it's pretty one-sided. I would say to RNG. PSG, if they can pick up a win against Damwon or RNG or something like this, it just fucks C9 over, right? So any single win that PSG gets over any team that's not Pentanet or C9 really fucks C9.
Yeah, unless C9 then beats PSG and then beats Mad Lions, right? Those are the matches we have to watch.
They have to match their wins basically.
I wonder if towards the end of the tournament some of these teams will start playing looser, like an RNG and a Damwon.
What do you mean?
Like if they're set top 2 no matter what, right? Will they start not hiding but like maybe try a few different things? And
I mean, RNG subbed in their fucking sub top laner, put Xiaohu mid when they had nothing to lose, and if Pentanet won or something, they'd be through.
yeah, but like
So they don't mind fucking around a bit.
I don't know if that's really like a nerf now. Xiaohu guy is it's not bad.
Yeah, I think Xiaohu's like one of the best players in the tournament right now, if not the best, alongside Ming. Those two are a bit cracked. Which is crazy, because they won MSI 3 years ago. And they're still really good players. That's a really nice thing.
There's one topic though, like is C9 doesn't have Rainover with them, right?
No.
Or am I like mistaken?
And RNG
remote, yeah.
doesn't have Tabe with them, I think, as well. They have someone called Poppy drafting for them on stage, who's, I don't know what part of the coaching staff he is, but yeah, RNG and C9 don't have their head coaches with them.
But what do you think about that? Like, how much it would impact?
I don't really know, to be honest. I don't know what Rainover does for the team. I mean, I know, like, in terms of, like, how much he brings, right? And how much other people bring. Because they have a lot of coaching staff, right? C9 they have Max Waldo, they have Mithy, they have Rainover, Darshan. Is that it?
Yeah, that sounds like. But just purely in a hypothetical, say that he is the voice that like
Big
managed
RB2
to balance out all these coaches, right? And their opinions or the overreactions after games, and he's not physically present. I think that could be massive, personally.
I think
Obviously, this sounds like, hey, another excuse for C9, but I don't know. I really wonder, like, what is maybe missing for them behind the scenes, right? To really correct.
Yeah, I think it depends on what he does for the team, right? So the head coach could be... I think there's lots of different types of head coaches, right? I don't know if you have the same opinion. There's the head coaches which are doing absolutely everything, absolutely cracked out of their minds. In-game knowledge, drafting knowledge, know the players well, know the meta well, good read, like... That's very rare.
Like me and Schalke, basically, yeah?
Yeah, okay, like you and Schalke, let's say that. Then there's the coaches who also do their job to be more of a middleman, because they kind of embrace that their game knowledge will never be as good as the players, and they just need the players to start talking about important topics, so they try to find things to talk about. And then when it comes to draft, to do the exact same thing. They say, we need to do this kind of idea, but I need you guys to fill in the blanks, right? So, yeah, it would hurt them a little bit, I think, for sure. Not having him on stage, I guess, to draft with them. Reviews is probably remote reviews. He probably has to get up fucking early in the morning as well, which... yeah, sucks, but yeah, I think RNG are in the same boat, right?
I'm not even sure if it's the stage maybe like is fixable because you can ultimately prep long enough that all scenarios are covered. It's more like they lose the game, they walk backstage, right? People are like a little bit heated about what went wrong, and he's not there to catch them. And that I wonder if it makes any impact.
Yeah, Vega RV2 is not there either. The only coach they have there are then Maxwell and Mithy, but I think Mithy's
not there in the end, like at all, right? He was not there in any area, you don't know.
Vega
no,
wasn't
yeah.
there.
But I think Mithy is the kind of person who should be able to sort that out. I've never worked with Mithy myself, but just from what I hear about people behind the scenes saying that he's like one of the best coaches they ever had, I'm sure he can kind of help through.
No, he will work there for sure, but he has this history with Luca and Sven, right? Already, this existing like way they talk to each other, and I just like I'm not saying it as an excuse. I just really wonder what the dynamic is because I'm curious. Because from what I saw from C9 content, it looked like Rainover like really, like even if it's all small things, really worked out for them. And I wonder if they ever drop out or something, if they make a comment on that fact, even though it sounds like excuses. Because I'm curious, when you have that many people there, what is the actual dynamic? Because when I see post-game cams and I see like 6 million people on that camera, I start getting worried. Because this for me is like a little bit of an overload in coaching staff. I don't know how Wunder feels
you
about
say
it.
that, but then you look at
Is
Mad
there
Lions.
too many?
You look at Mad Lions behind the scenes when they're winning a fight. It's like 10 people jumping up and down. So yeah, there's loads of people for different for different teams, right?
Yeah, I don't know if you can beat. I mean, you can maybe beat too many. Like, I mean, should be too many in a room, right? But you cannot like. I think there's always like use for some people, as long as it like. I mean, you can always like have a negative impact on a team, right? If you don't get like if you're like being. Yeah, if you don't get along with like the team and you're like just a useless coaching staff member, then people can be like, "What the fuck is this guy doing here?" You know. But if no one is like that, then I don't know if it's like an issue, right? I heard Perks like really liked his coaching staff, but of course he has like a lot of people, so I don't know how much Reino or like how much that is Reino and anyone else, right?
Perks can also be a guiding tool for people as well, right? I'm sure Perks is very talkative. I've never worked with myself either, but you have Wunder, right? So and you have as well, Krepo, right? So
yeah, the one thing that worries me for Luca right now is that he might want like everyone like he's playing. He didn't play well today, right? In some of the flanks, but to me it feels like is he playing while trying to fix other people's like shit as well in game? Like is he having to say like okay we have to play this fight here and here? Yeah, or like we need to like because some of those flanks where he got caught, he only got caught after C9 gave up the ground, you know. Like if you're flanking and your team just gives up the ground and then you're stuck alone and you get engaged on, that kind of feels like bad and upsetting, I feel like. So I don't know, this is pure speculation again, but the level that he played and misplayed in some of the things, that didn't look like Luca to me. That just looked like Luca with it on his mind.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think he's probably just, I mean, you can get stressed out, I think, like from playing with him when they're in like this kind of situation and he is not happy with like either how he's playing the game or how they think about like his team, just so like everyone on the team just thinks about the game and there's 0-4 down and he like sits in a game and he's losing yet another game, then he can get stressed out, you know. I think that's just like everyone, but I think especially him, he's probably like more emotional than most players, at least most players I've played with. So if like, not like that he will like tilt during the game, you know, but like he can like sit there and think about stuff that he shouldn't be thinking about while like playing the game, I guess.
Like he gets in his own head sometimes, maybe. Or...
Yeah, he can get in his own head.
Yeah.
He is aware of it though, in terms of what he needs to unstress from that, and he has gone through the ringer a few times. So like in that sense, I still have faith because it's 3 more full days left, and they only need 4 wins total. That they actually turn it around.
I mean, he will not tilt in the sense that like he will give up, you know. I don't think he will ever like give up until they actually can't make it anymore, right? So
yeah,
he will probably be sitting right now and like going over like either things with some of his teammates or like going over just things by himself or like thinking about draft for tomorrow most likely, since well I don't know if like usually we had the excuse that it was just draft diff, right? But I actually think they had like pretty decent drafts.
Yeah, I think
so I don't even know if I don't know how they think, you know. I don't know if they think that drafts are bad because no one else really drafts like
I mean,
them,
but
right?
that was
So
coping sometimes too, though, because like I have to back up the staff here because I can stitch from G2. Having worked there, everyone agrees on a draft, they go in, They lose the game because they
No,
misplay.
I mean, it's never like
draft was bad.
it's never like draft is bad, coach sucks, you know. It's just draft is bad. We don't know better, you know. But right now, I don't actually think that the draft is like actually that bad.
Yeah, but
maybe they think so because no one if no one drafts like you and you lose 4 games in a row, you know, there has to be something wrong. So,
would you agree with the statement that a lot of the draft actually comes from the players as well? Because from my experience,
yeah, I think the draft is like all players.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always coach, of course, will study more. There are tendencies. I think coach, when it comes to like bans and like first 3 bans especially, I think coach can probably have a lot to say because. Not all players will be like, okay, we have to ban these 3 champions. But usually, like, you agree as a team what champions are the priority picks, and that's like mainly players as well because, well, you have like a lot of scrims to judge it from. You maybe have a guy that says like, this champion is really OP, I don't want to play against it, and if I get it, it's free win. Then you're like, okay, sure, that's our first pick, you know.
Yeah.
It's like most drafts just come from players, and like. A lot of players are smart enough to like know how the theme of the comp is and pick around it if you're like picking last or picking in 4-5 generally.
Yeah, I think
so like
go ahead.
No, so like coach coach can come with ideas, of course, just like everyone else, but I think mainly it just comes from players. Like for example, the coach can say we are drafting, like if we first pick, let's say we first pick or like Lulu Kokmars with OP, you probably don't want like something that can't play with Lulu Kokmar at all, you know? You want something that can actually make sure Lulu Kokmar can like carry the game because that's how you draft it. And maybe that's what a coach can say in draft, that like if you're not picking to the team or something, you can like maybe mention it or something, but yeah.
Yeah, and the coach can bring like concepts, and the scouting from the bans is basically where his starting point is, and the players kind of fill in the blanks as to what champions they think are good there in certain situations, right? And sometimes you get to the end of the draft and you have last pick sometimes. I imagine you've been in this situation where you're like, yeah, our draft it's a bit fucked. We need you to sack and play this, so like a tank top if you have to, worst case, or yeah, we really need to do something weird here to fix the draft, or pick something crazy now and then.
It always happens, yeah. I mean, there's also just things that maybe you don't prepare enough. Like you either don't prepare, you don't know, like you don't actually know what's good. Maybe you have like a really fucking rough week of scrims and you have no clue what actually works.
Yeah.
And then you just end up with like something that doesn't make sense because yeah, you're either not confident in your champs.
But then it's time for 4-5 surprise, right?
Yeah, then you just go 4-5 and you just flip it.
Yeah, drafting is a weird topic because on the outside, from the public's perspective, bad draft, games lost, everyone blames the coach, right?
Which, as it should, right? Like, good coach will just jump on the grenade, right? Because why would they upset their players? The only problem you ever had is if the management behind that coach actually started believing it, you know, if they read Reddit. But I think a good coach just always jumps on the grenade and says, you know, guys, my bad. Fuck, misread the draft, and then you go next.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's an interesting topic to talk about as well. That's a very deep topic when it comes to draft because people have a lot of speculations and they don't really understand. Because I imagine you have had the same where it's like draft meetings can be hours long sometimes, or they can even be short if you had a good week of scrims. You know what's OP, and then drafts can be thrown in so many different ways where your comp either sucks and you have to salvage it, or they pick something random and you're not expecting it and you have to change everything up. So then
was it MSI or where else? I still remember it, by the way. I think they did like 7 hours of draft meet. They finally agreed to everything. We show up to the tournament. It's 1 hour till match. Actually, Grabs, I think we don't pick this. I think we change it.
And it changes everything?
I mean, that happened like almost every time.
Yeah, every single time.
This is like the last minute thought where it's like, actually,
it
sounds pretty shit that yesterday, I don't know what I was thinking. Scrap that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also, also like in the, what was it, 2020? Was it like spring final or like something where Caps played like Kokma Lulu or like Kokma with Enchanter?
Oh, because
he was playing AD carry. Yeah, because he had a dream, yeah.
Yeah.
And we had like running draft meets, like.
So you're telling me you guys
week.
had draft meetings all week and Caps had a dream the night before the best of 5 or whatever it was, and he just said he wanted to play this champ?
Yeah, we had running draft meets like pretty much the entire week. Maybe for like a total of 5-6 hours. Just talk about, because I mean also I think that maybe people don't know. I mean, you kind of decide on the draft not the day before you play script like a stage, because you want to like kind of play the stage like already
The
in
last two
scrims,
scrim
you know?
days, the last two
Yeah.
scrim days, you want to have your draft kind of locked, and then the next day you can tweak like a tiny bit. But if you're deciding on your full draft and you never play it, then you're griefing a bit, I think.
Yeah, so we basically went into playing Kog'Maw when we hadn't played a single game of scrims in probably since like the beginning, like even before the split even started. So yeah, we just did that because Caps had a dream, so it happens a lot.
That happens a lot. Okay.
But the one thing about draft that people have to remember, like, draft is not only about getting to conclusion, it's more about like you start figuring out how every single player thinks about the game, right? And that will make your future like draft adaptations much easier.
Yeah. No, because you adapt throughout the week, right? So at the start of the week you want to play this, and this. You test it out, and the draft on stage changes as the week progresses, right?
Yeah, and if I've listened to Wunder talk about his top lane for like collectively 40 hours across the year, then I know how he thinks about the game, right?
Yeah.
And then it should get easier. But
Yeah,
then he looks in your jungle.
How did your Kindred game go?
Was a disaster.
That
That was jungle diff.
It
That was
jungle
a
diff?
clear jungle diff. Yeah,
Yeah, I can see it here. Oh boy.
it happens.
It
Can't
happens.
always win.
Can't always win. So then, after the Damn 1 Mad Lions game, that's the first half of round 2 done. So now it's just a repeat. Everyone plays each other again. I think by then what we would expect is Cloud9 probably beat Pentanet, RNG probably beats PSG, and then Cloud9 are literally just one win behind PSG, right? So the next time they play up against each other, if PSG beats C9 the next time they beat each other, play each other, I think C9's done.
Yeah, then it's definitely, then it's 100%, like not 100%, but then given the tournament it's really over. It's just, even if C9 beat PSG the next time they play, if PSG get any win anywhere else, and the first half plays the same way for C9, then C9 is also fucked, right?
Yeah. And
so a lot of pressure.
It starts off rough, right? So RNG go against Pentanets. That's just a one-sided. Yeah, we don't talk about that game. But then it's Cloud9 versus Damwon. The run back, which was the game. Was it today? Yeah, it was today, right? Where they played against each other and they had this Lucian Ash comp and they were like a little bit ahead, it felt like. But then all of a sudden they just lost random fights in the Senna comp one. But they've beaten Damwon before. Maybe they can do it again. And any win for C9 is a huge win. And any win for PSG is also huge. So I think the whole tournament right now for me is basically PSG versus C9. Like who can get more wins.
If you vote, who gets out?
You want me to vote?
I mean, I wonder. Like you are 12 out of 12, 100% analyst.
My honest answer is PSG will probably get out. Yeah.
I'm voting C9.
Okay, Wunder, who are you voting?
I think PSG will make it out too, yeah.
Oh,
but I think Cloud9, Cloud9 has a good chance of taking games off of both Damwon and Matt, because I think both of the teams they make way more mistakes than PSG than RNG does. Like I think the way Cloud9 are drafting, if teams make team fight mistakes, like for example, Damwon gives up like 2 free kills just because they don't know how to team fight probably for some reason. Like they play their Sion and Sion just ults in, or Set just flashes in and they're not on the same page. Then I think usually what Cloud9 drafts is like very good at, once they win one team fight, it kind of just snowballs and then they can never lose a team fight again. But I think RNG, with how they draft, like Cloud9 is probably not gonna win against them, or with how they play team fights at least.
Yeah.
And I guess we don't really know how they're gonna play against Matt, but Matt also like usually, I mean, this is a European thing to like just make a lot of mistakes, or like they just throw the game a lot, or they can at least.
Happy relaxants.
Yeah, they play maybe a bit too happy, yeah. So they can probably take a game of them as well.
Have you been scrimming some of these MSI teams? G2, did they start scrims?
Yep.
We played some, yeah.
Okay. I don't want to.
We played. I mean, I can say who we played, I guess, because it doesn't really matter. Because we
all
I know the results, so if I say the results and Wunder says who we played, then like.
Yeah, true.
Everything, but.
Okay,
we played. We didn't play any wildcard teams. I vetoed it because didn't want to play Pentanet, but we played Cloud9, RNG, and PSG.
Okay, nice. I won't ask for results, but I hope they're going well. Are there any other?
Let's just say they've winning against most of them.
Winning against most of them.
But we didn't play a lot.
But you didn't play a lot. So RNG,
Yeah.
C9, PSG, winning against most of them, but you didn't play a lot. Okay. I like
Also,
that.
but do scrims really matter? Like,
True.
The scrims don't matter either.
yeah, just like now
And
that you said that you're winning,
also-
you can also say it, right? Like, because I think
Yeah.
people say that often when they lose scrims, and people are like, yeah, copium, but like, guys, scrims really don't fucking matter, right?
Mm.
It's so useless, in my opinion.
And also like the patch, I mean the patch we're playing on is, I mean honestly when I go into scrim I just want to play Viego and Gwen, but I can't, so that just makes me depressed about the day.
Hopefully they're enabled
Have
for
to go.
summer. They should be.
True.
They should be enabled for summer. Do you think these champs are OP as fuck, or what? Do you just want to have fun?
I think the champs are probably OP, yeah. Because most people
really strong.
don't even play them. And like most pros don't, I mean the pros at least that made it to MSI don't play them, of course. And I think, yeah, once people get good at it, they're probably OP.
I know, you said that you're scrimming the MSI teams. Are there any other LEC teams scrimming right now that you've scrimmed or know that are scrimming MSI teams too, or is it just G2 you want to get like early practice in?
Not that I know of. I mean, it's not even that we wanted to like just play because it'll be fun, I think.
Yeah.
Because I don't even think we played it for practice. Like I just said, I mean, we talked about scrimming, right? And we didn't really want to scrim. We didn't want to commit to like usual. This is the start of the split scrim schedule, you know. We just wanted to play whenever we like had the chance. And we didn't want to play against wildcard teams, so there was like no reason for us to scrim against European teams either, because then we might as well just start scrimming, you know. There's like, yeah, no reason to book EU teams. We just wanted to play against like the international teams, so that was what we did mostly.
You think it's the buff to G2 that like their top lane will just dominate with Gwen and
Viego.
Viego in the early weeks?
I've seen no WoW
I
3
don't
win
know.
solo queue 80% win rate
But
Viego.
is dodging MSI the path to World Finals? Was it just?
It might be, honestly.
Yeah.
Actually, that's actually a good topic, because I think a lot of people have been asking about that, because people don't really know a pro player schedule and they don't really understand Burnout too much. But for you, for example, right? Let's take 2019 when you won MSI and you went to World Finals, right? How was the Burnout? Because for me, like, I'll take myself as a small example. Obviously, nothing compared to you. Just doing one split already felt really draining. How draining is it? Is that the reason you sometimes just kind of shy away from solo queue? Because I think now that you guys aren't at MSI and you have a longer break, I think that actually helps you out a little bit.
It's for sure like it makes you probably want it more, I think. But when you don't have it, you probably want it more, and you get like there's like some motivation there. But I think, yeah, just in general, when you play for so long, there's, well, it just kind of slips, like everything just slips away, and like you kind of start mixing like free time with the competitive aspect as well, because you don't really get any free time. So like it just, everything mixes together. Whereas if you had a shorter season, you could maybe like focus a bit more on just the game and just like your team, instead of like also having to worry about like your own life and like not becoming just a zombie who sits and like only plays League and only wants to focus on that, but you also have like your own priorities in mind and everything else, right?
Yeah.
So I think when the season becomes so long, there's definitely, you don't get complacent. I mean, you might get complacent, right? Because you're winning a lot, but you just also have other cravings, I guess, when it comes to like playing other games or just doing other things than
Other
playing
games?
Other games? No, but in all seriousness, you play from like January up until, let's say you're at MSI Finals, right? May 23rd or whatever it is, to the MSI Finals. And then you have 2 or 3 weeks till LEC Summer. And by the first week for LEC Summer, you're probably scrimming already. So let's just say you have max 2 weeks break, if anything. And then you go through all of Summer... And content too. All of Summer split, all the way. Let's say you go to Worlds Finals. When's that? Like just at the start of November, end of October? Which is like almost 9 months actually non-stop.
I mean, usually all the time, at least if you win MSI, all the time between spring and World Finals is just only League. Because, I mean, you might have like at max 1 week break or something. If you win MSI and like you start summer again, like one or 2 weeks after. And then you have like, yeah, then your first real off time is November. So like after World Finals, it's usually November like start November. So then you have November until January again where it starts. That's
crazy.
your only real off time.
That's why getting one run into Worlds is like kind of good though before, and like getting even a shallow run into Worlds before you make a deep run, I think is important for certain players. Like some players just don't burn out as easily, but like I had the pleasure or the privilege, I guess, to work with like I guess G2 like what was it 2019? Was it 18? I always forget. 19, right? The year. Wunder, do you remember?
19? Yeah, 19.
19? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how well they were aware for pacing and burnout, for me was like really impressive. Because like I never had to worry about burnout in my career. I had plenty of time off.
Yeah,
you know?
same. I never even made playoffs.
Yeah. Burnout. Y'all got any more league games? But yeah. But no, I think both like perks and caps. Like I kind of exclude Wunder because for me he's a bit of a psychopath who doesn't play solo queue anyways as much. But he will be ready no matter what. But like the way caps and perks pace themselves, because caps when he's in the like he goes really ham. Like he's an absolute degenerate, right? Like this is the person you have to remind to even eat.
Really?
When he starts playing so many games. Yeah. And then whereas perks on the opposite is like he knows what he needs outside the game to keep the grind up. Like he'll need a sauna or a swimming pool meme or gym and stuff, right? But like these people are so good deep into tournaments because they know exactly what they need to kind of keep going. And I think the coaching staff there as well at G2 was really smart at like at least implementing here and there like a double day off, or at least listening to players in terms of how intensive they need to go, how long the reviews need to be. And I think that plays a really big role in whether a team can make it to the final and still play or just arrive like toast.
Yeah, that's interesting. We had talked about the import rule changes, and we won't go back to it. But just for your guys' information, apparently, as far as I can see on Reddit, something that someone has linked to me, they're still being discussed. Travis Gafford said today that import rule is actually still being discussed. It's not been shut down yet.
It will always be discussed, right,
crazy.
at owners meet, because that is the way it works. Is in NA the owners have like basically in every single league the owners of all teams will gather with Riot at least once a split, right? And they will discuss things on the table. And obviously all these NA owners want the import rule gone. The problem is when they make a change to a tier 1 aspect of a league, basically tier 1 being a region that like feeds in directly into Worlds. That's going to impact the ecosystem of all these other tier 1 regions. And the question is, can Riot just change an import rule in one region while not getting consensus and agreement from all the other tier 1 regions? That's what's worrying. And
it's a touchy topic. It's a touch and go topic. The last question I want to have on this MSI talk is or about just Burnout in general was there's never been a team that's won MSI and then won Worlds, right? There's no team's ever done that, right? As far as I'm aware, the Grand Slam, whatever it is, where you win MSI and win Worlds. Do you think you would attribute that to Burnout a little bit, or would it just be more like, yeah, it just sucks, the team's just got worse?
I think variance as well. Not every team that wins a tournament deserves to only win it.
Really?
Yeah, but they didn't win the spring split then, or the summer. Basically, they lost one split there.
The Grand Slams where you win spring, summer, MSI Worlds, right?
Yeah.
I wonder what that is.
G2 was about to do it.
True. They were 3 games away from doing it.
That is true. We were the closest team, actually.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll do questions from chat. So if anyone in chat has questions for me, for Krepo, for Wunder, for all 3 of us, MSI questions, just shoot them. We'll do a couple questions. It's already been an hour, so we'll do just a couple. And we can just pick them out of chat. What game is Wunder playing right now? Are you still playing WoW, Wunder? I remember we talked about this a few days ago. You kind of stopped a little bit.
Yeah, I'm done now. I mean, TBC comes out soon, right? So I'll probably just be like playing.
When's it coming out?
Like, it comes out, I think, the start of next month.
Oh, dude, summer
so like the 2nd, actually. Yeah, I know. But I mean, I'm just gonna be like, I'm gonna be in queue, and I'm gonna be leveling while I'm in queue. I'm gonna be, for hopefully as long as I can make that work.
If you wanna play some Rogue Druid, hit me up.
Rogue Druid?
But Wrath of Lich King's Rare Strike, so I'll wait for that one.
Yeah, same.
Fucking Zoomers.
Will G2 make it to Worlds? I would assume so.
I hope so.
Vitality rumors. I I've touched on those a few times. Do you have any thoughts on the Vitality rumors, Wunder, with these roles, with these changes? Bwipo going to jungle, Selfmade going to Vitality, Adam going to top, Leader going to mid.
Wait, Vitality rumors is Selfmade jungle and Leader mid, right?
Yeah, and SLT top, who was on big.
Yeah, I don't know much about that top laner. But I think. Wait, they had Milica, right? Or however you pronounce it.
Milica skins, yeah.
Yeah, so Leader's probably gonna be better if the meta favors him. So like they for sure have like, I mean, a lot of analysts use these words, right? So I'll just use them as well. But they'll have like a higher ceiling, or like
okay.
They will just
let's get Wunder on the broadcast.
They will just be they could be like potentially a world's contender, you know? They could probably make it instead of we have 3 spots this time, right?
We have 3 spots. Unless Mad wins MSI, then we have 4.
Yeah, so I guess they could be like around the 4th place, and if they have like a really good run, playoffs meta favors them, maybe they will get a world spot. Who knows?
That's a lot of copium.
True.
A lot of copium.
But that's also if like I think they have players that could also be very. They could have like a very destructive team environment with the players that they have, I think. So who knows if everything clicks, maybe they could be good. They for sure. There's like if you were to like bet on it, there's a higher chance with the new roster that they would make it further.
L9
at least. So
and then the Bwipo top jungle. Think he'll be a good jungler? Any initial thoughts on that at all? Because he was a really good top in Europe. It's definitely a huge role swap. Because I think when barring maybe perks, arguably, players normally role swap to just hit a higher skill ceiling. But Bwipo was one of the best tops in Europe, so it feels like there's not really much room to get like even better in that role if he goes to jungle.
Jungle. At least right now, I feel like jungle is like so simple. Like it's actually such an easy role. So I think. As long as you have mechanics, because I think that's what like, I mean, as long as you know how to pull your teammates, because I think every clear is basically the same. You full clear, and then you have some free time, and then you go back to your initial full clear, like 2 minutes. What is now 2 minutes 15 after, and it's basically the same all the time. So I don't see anything any jungler does right now that can't be like emulated and like copied and what reviewed. So I think as long as Bwipo like kind of maybe takes like 2 weeks to get himself into the role, I think he will be the same as anyone else, and then he will have like his champions that he shines on compared to other people, which I think is not bad. Yeah.
I kind of agree there, because I think what marked like really great junglers in the past was knowing when to go for clear versus ganks, how to play when you got ahead versus with clear when someone was ganking, and the opposite, right? And obviously like in which regard comeback XP played a part there. But
I think jungle was like so much more nuanced in the past.
That's why I was so impressed with Ankos the first time I actually heard him play and watched him play, the way he could balance it out. But for me now, jungle is just like, it's just full clear any percent into prio check for crab, into full clear, hope no lanes int. And there's obviously a lot of skill to that, right? Especially if you can like steal a camp away. But the difference, like, it's really minor. But back in the day, you could do so many plays, man. Level 2 ganks, level 3 ganks,
the only real thing you see these days that's not a full clear is a Lilia doing Raptors red and invading your Raptors, and all of a sudden things just get a little bit different unless it's a level 1 invade. So yeah, jungle's getting a lot more simple.
I mean, I think I can like compare to like in the past when Lee Sin and Qiyana was like the meta junglers. I think it showed way more skill when especially like the Eastern junglers, they played really well with their supports. They basically make like your entire, let's say, top side blind, and they swapped the map, and then they just sat there and camped, you know, knowing like when to actually sweep the entire jungle and just sit there and camp, and like enemies can't actually play the game on 2 lanes, compared to now where if you do that, the other jungler is just like doing his full clear on rotation, and you just can't actually, like, it's not the same game anymore when it comes to jungle. Jungle is honestly just full clear and then play with your support. So there's like skill in playing with your support, but I think even Whipple would be good at doing that, right? Like he likes playing with Hylissang, so I don't see why they would not like just sit there and talk about the game. I think they already do, even though they're top support, right? So it's probably gonna be no different.
On that topic though, I feel like with all the changes Fnatic has done, for me, I just hope it makes their environment click. Because from looking in from the outside and knowing a little bit, it seems like a lot of, like, they just seem to have like a big culture issue like every single year. Whether it's like the coaching staff not agreeing between each other, you know, like Mitty looking low-key depressed and then suddenly shining in NA, them losing Reckless and not re-signing, then getting a team, but then like the fact that you after half a split change a player in a wall swap for, yeah, Adam is hype, but like it's not like it's like the Giga upgrade of upgrades, right? While losing Selfmade, which was supposed to be, I mean, allegedly, right? Because it's not all confirmed, but
I think EU Masters players are overrated.
Okay, he said it.
I think
Wunder called Adam trash. That's your.
I don't think he's bad. I think he has like his champs that are like he has like his very niche champion pool, like his Olaf and his Darius, and that can for sure work. And he can for sure like carry a game even in LEC. But he can also really int the game and just lose the game for his team.
True.
And on all the other meta champions that he will like every time you're an OTP, like he's not an OTP, right? But every time you have like your niche picks, they're usually niche for a reason. And once he starts playing against better players, he will like without a doubt have to pick up. I mean, he still plays like the Renekton and the Nars and all these champs that were meta this year. But I think like compared to LEC players, he's not gonna be like the best of them, and he's not gonna have like this edge that he has on EU Masters players.
Yeah.
And just knowing like from scrimming, also scrimming K Corp, there's like nothing. They were really good as a team, and this is also why like they had like good players for EU Masters level, and they really knew how to like snowball the game. But like as individuals, they were not even top 3 in any role. So it's not like all this hype about the EU Masters teams. It's not gonna be like anything special.
So you're just referring to like teams just swapping out players who have proven themselves. Like let's just take Whippo as an example. I don't know if he was forced to roll swap, if he was going to be kicked or whatever it was. But let's just say a player who's been to World Finals, was against Top Esports in the quarters last year, and Hylissang as well, who was insanely good. And then all of a sudden just rookies who are cheaper just being thrown in there to see if it sticks. I just kind of...
Good things about them, right, is that, I mean, I don't know about Adam, right, because he has like a really big fan base. So it's probably like a bit more expensive. Also, like the buyout was like 500k or something, apparently.
240k euros was the buyout.
Oh, it's 240?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like usually, I mean, usually good things about EU Masters players is that while they might not be as good when you pick them up, at least now they will start playing against LEC players and scrims. If they have good work ethic, they're hungry, you know. You can probably sign them cheaper than other players. So like they have a lot of things that speaks in favor of like picking up a player coming from those leagues, right? But I don't think anyone should expect a player that just comes in not to win at least a couple of games and not to like lose it for his team. And I think joining a team like Fnatic, maybe
he would need a swing split, right? Before
he will need that. He would probably need a split to like at least get on the right track, I think.
No, I agree.
I agree. I think rookies need time to grow. And just throwing them in expecting results and then just kicking them like it's nothing every now and then, it's just...
But they know this, right? Like, Fnatic know this, so what worries me then is like full circle is like, what prompts a decision that if you're so confident in your roster or not so confident, but you have a roster made that you after a split go for a full role swap plus rookie? Like, is this like building to the future, signing for a 3-year, believe you can get him to a ceiling, or is it just like it's fucking disaster? We need to do something.
I think there's 3 types of rookies, right? You have the rookies like I don't know, let's take Elyoya or Mad Lions, like in general, just their AD carry, their support, Karzi Kaiser, or even Selfmade when he joined, who were like just shine instantly, like holy shit, they're good players. You have rookies who need time to grow. I think VTO is a good example, maybe Cry is also these players who have been in a split. Maybe give them some more time, they'll probably get better. Chocolate as well, perhaps. And then you have, talking about Chocolate, rookies who come in for a split and then just kind of swipe them under the rug, you know, as if they never were there. Skeens, Milita, they had a lot of time. They didn't really prove themselves. Chocolate again, who just kind of gets swept under the rug and don't really shine. So I think there's three paths for a rookie, and I think it's hard to tell which path people like Adam will take, right? Especially on Fnatic,
I mean,
lots of pressure.
I think that's like, I mean, for sure, bottom tier teams are like the worst offenders, right? Because they're at the bottom of the league, and they usually switch the rookies that come in. They can maybe like bench them or switch them out, like either during the split or when the split is over. But usually the rookies that join, like Fanatics, teams like this, you know, they will usually perform. They will usually have like the players around them to at least perform decently well, and they will be in a winning culture pretty much instantly, which of course helps them a lot. But yeah, I think, for example, I don't know who the top laner from Vitality is gonna be, but I think benching a guy like Segunda after first split, it's probably not like the move you want to do.
Comp as
of
well,
course,
just kind of getting swept on the rug, right?
Like to get a top laner from EU Masters. I'm pretty sure when they picked up Segunda from EU Masters, he was like the next big thing, you know. He was like the top laner that he was basically like Adam, but now they just benched him for another Adam, you know.
For another like, player that like looks really good, right?
Yeah. So I mean, they can do whatever they want, right? Maybe he's actually good, and I don't know better, but. Yeah, I mean, it's just weird to me.
Yeah, the rookie topic is a weird one. There was one question earlier on, which I just wanted to finish it off with. It was directed to Wunder again. Just in general, how's life? How are you enjoying the off-season? What are you up to? Is life great? Is life bad? How are things in Wunder's life?
Off-season has been alright. I've tried, when my World of Warcraft passion was still alive, I was trying my hardest to get Stone Legion down, but it was not meant to be. And I only reached 2300 rating.
Oh.
But I just CV'd pushing for 2400. It was not meant to be either.
It was not meant
to be. He had some really good passes though on his first.
And yeah, in PvE I had some good passes.
Yeah.
Some 99s, some 100s, you know. It's just, it is what it is.
As his officer, I think he performed very well on the roster.
Yeah, and when it comes to the league side of things, well, I started playing more league now. I'm kind of hard stuck around 400-500 LP, but at least it's better than nothing, right?
You've been climbing a lot. Your trajectory looks great. I looked at the tier graph. I'll give you 5th of the 7th, so the 7th of May, 280 LP. 2nd of May, 120 LP. Today, 15th of May, 500 LP. So that's an upwards trend. So keep fucking grinding, man.
But today, actually, 428 LP. So I lost a lot.
Well,
but yeah, I mean,
2 steps forwards, 1 step back, you know?
It's true. And now I will do the same thing again and get to Challenger. That's my goal.
And then Krepo, how's life with you? I think maybe a couple of people haven't seen you too much. I know you're streaming a lot.
Yeah,
things behind the scenes.
Gravity's rough, but we're streaming. We play some solo queue, play some club nights. It's nice.
Some club nights. Yeah, I saw you do streams to like 2, 3 a.m. with disco lights. Fucking.
4 a.m., 5 a.m.
4 a.m., 5 a.m.
Yeah, really. I mean, yeah, that's that.
That's that. Okay. Cool. Well, thank you guys for joining me in MSI After Hours episode 4. We went a little bit off topic from the MSI stuff, but I think it was really cool content to talk about. If you guys want to check out Krepo's stream, he streams on Twitch. Krepo, are you streaming after this?
Yeah, I'm gonna fire up the club. Yeah.
He's gonna fire up the club. So guys, 18 plus. Is there an age limit to the club?
Everyone is. It's a very welcoming environment. Everyone's welcome.
Okay,
we don't glorify drinking too much, but just care with the headset. Yeah, the BPM is sometimes through the roof.
BPM through the roof. So Krepo will be streaming after this. And Wunder, you can track him on solo queue. He's no WoW free win, or you can check him on Twitter, anything like this. G2 Wunder. You don't stream too much. I know you don't stream that much, Wunder, but he does stream every now and then. It's just
4 Professor streams. They're fantastic.
4 Professor streams.
Have to get it out there once in a while.
Every now and then. So yeah, thank you guys for being here. This is episode 4. Thank you everyone in chat who's been here. I hope you enjoyed the content, and we'll see you for episode 5, which I have no idea when it will be. Probably in the next few days, but I'll definitely let you guys know.